What's up, guys? It's Saturday morning, about 10 a.m. and I'm off to Hollywood Casino to put in a 1-2 session. This might seem a little off because of the crazy kind of lag time between the time I actually shoot these videos and edit and put them out, but it's actually been 2 weeks since the last time I've played any live poker. I've taken the last 2 weeks off. You guys know I've been in the midst of this really big downswing, at least big for me, and I thought it would just be good for my state of mind to kind of take a break, kind of reassess things. I haven't wasted the time at all. I've been studying really hard, been playing a lot online, so I feel good about the break, but I'm also looking forward to getting back to playing. You'll notice I'm here playing on a Saturday, which is unusual for me, but you know, because I play so few days a week, I'm trying to start playing on the days when the games are best. And of course, Saturday is when all the tourists and kind of rec players are out. So yeah, I'm here on a Saturday. I'm not sure how great that's going to be for my marriage, but I got to give it a try here. But I'm here. Let's go get in a game. See you in there. Alright, taking a little break here. First of all, shout out to Joseph, who's at my table, and he watches the vlogs, he comments. Great to finally run into you, Joseph. Hopefully you don't beat me out of a bunch of money, or I don't do anything to embarrass myself in front of you. It's always kind of weird playing with people who watch the vlog. It's a little extra pressure to play well, you know. But things are going okay right now. It's a pretty good game. Other than Joseph and maybe one other player, it's really, really soft. Saturday is kind of living up to be everything I had hoped it would be. It's a lot of ABC poker, a lot of fit or fold. There's a couple players who are just playing almost any two cards, so it's pretty good. I don't know what I'm up now, $50 or $60 maybe, nothing exciting. But gonna get it back in there and hopefully pull out a win today, break this downswing. That would be nice. Man, I gotta start playing on these weekend afternoons more. The games are just night and day from what I normally play. I normally play on like Tuesdays, Thursdays, kind of weekday afternoons. It's a lot of OMCs and stuff, but man, there's just so many bad, soft players. The games just looks like every single table. It's a really good game, so I gotta make an effort in the future to get out here on weekends. It's probably gonna ruin my marriage, but you know, you gotta have your priorities, I guess. Don't tell my wife I said that. I was recently listening to the Top 2 Poker podcast. That's the one with Chase Bianchi, and they were talking about tipping, and it's made me think a lot about tipping today. My normal policy is that I tip $1 every pot I win, unless the pot's under $10. If it's under $10, like, you know, if I just pick up the blinds or something like that, or if it doesn't, you know, or if there's a raise and it doesn't go to the flop, something like that, then I don't tip anything. What do you guys think of that policy? Does that sound okay? Especially if you're a dealer. I'm wondering how dealers feel about that, but what do you guys tip? What's normal for you? I haven't had a ton of exciting hands to talk about today. It's been a lot of kind of raising pre-flop and then c-betting on the flop and taking it down right there, which is nice. You know, I can kind of just grind out a profit that way, but it's not great for the vlog. But I do have a couple hands, so let's go back to the house and talk about them. All right, in this first hand, I'm in the small blind with king-queen suited. A middle position player bets, and I'm the only caller. This hand is pretty close to the bottom of my range when I'm in a raised pot out of position in the blinds. But this player had been super bluffy and aggressive, and I knew that if I hit my hand that I'd probably be able to stack him. So heads up, and the flop comes 9, 10, 10 with 2 spades. So I've got a flush draw, a gut shot, 2 overs, and even a draw to a straight flush. The villain makes a pot size c-bet, and while I'm trying to decide what action I should take, he says to me, quote, "I think we both have ace-10 here." I usually take a statement like this as strong means weak, and I might even put in a raise here sometimes to test that out. But in this situation, so many turns improved my hand that I think it's pretty safe to just peel one off here. So I go ahead and just call. The turn comes to 6 of clubs, and the villain pretty quickly bets out $100. This felt super bluffy to me. But the problem, of course, is even if he is bluffing, I only have king high, and I don't have enough behind to push him off something like ace high. But like I said, I've got a ton of outs here, and I do think he would make this play with something like queen jack or any two spades. So there are a few bluffs that I can beat here. I'm not sure if it's the right play, but I do decide to go ahead and call. That only left me with $37 behind, which I obviously should have just stuck in here, but I mistakenly verbally announced call, so I would have to wait to get the chips in till the river. The river is the queen of clubs, and the villain immediately tosses out 40 bucks to put me all in, which ends up being kind of strange, considering it turns out in the end that he really does only have ace high. I mean, he can't possibly have thought I was going to fold to just a $37 bet into a pot that had over $300 in it, right? Who knows, but either way, it turns out making a pair of queens on the river is good, and we take this one down. All right, next hand. Okay, in the second hand, I'm on the button with king queen again, though this time it's not suited. There's 4 limps. I raise it up to 18. Under the gun calls, and so does a middle position player. The flop comes pretty good. It comes 5-4 queen rainbow. Under the gun, he donks out 10 bucks, and the middle position player he calls. Donk bets like this are usually a pretty big sign of weakness or just kind of a marginal hand. And the small sizing here is a little weird too. Anyway, I go ahead and raise it up to $40 here, thinking that the under the gun player will usually call here with weaker queens and straight draws. And sure enough, under the gun calls and the middle position player folds. The turn is the 3 of hearts, which isn't horrible, but it's not great. It does complete some of his straight draws. The villain checks, and feeling just a little suspicious of his flat call on the flop, I go ahead and check as well. I'm starting to worry a little bit about ace queen here, because it's definitely something he would limp call pre-flop. I'm not quite as worried about a set here, because I think it would just be so weird to make that tiny donk bet on the flop. That just seems like a strange line with a set. So like I said, we both check, and the river comes the jack of spades. He checks, and I decide to not go for a value bet here, because honestly, I just have no idea what I'd do if he check raised me in this spot. I check, which turns out to be good, because he turns over 5-4 offsuit, and takes down the pot. I was super surprised that he called such a large pre-flop raise with 5-4 off, but then again, that's of course exactly the kind of hand you want to see in a game. So I just took it as a sign I was in a good game and moved on. All right, let's go to the next hand. In this next one, I'm in the small blind with ace jack of diamonds. A middle position player bumps it up to $12 and I'm the only caller. The flop comes queen jack deuce with 2 hearts and we both check. So far, the villain had been playing pretty honest, kind of betting hands when he'd hit it and checking down boards that he just completely missed. But I'd also noticed that he was pretty consistently betting his draws. So his check here in position felt like he had either completely whiffed this board or had flopped a monster. The turn is a great one for me. It comes the jack of clubs. I go ahead and put out a value bet of 15 bucks and the villain calls. With the villain's flat call here, I'm not super concerned about him having a monster. I'm not ruling it out now, but I do feel like he would re-raise me here and start to try and build a pot. So I think at this point, his range is pretty heavy with ace-king, king-queen suited, maybe pocket tens. You know, the kind of hands that he would raise pre-flop with and then check on this flop. Now that I think about it a little more, I think he would raise king-queen suited on this flop, especially with the heart draw out there. So I kind of think king-queen is kind of unlikely too. So it seems to me that he's probably kind of being a little sticky here with overcards or a small to medium pair that didn't hit this board. The river is the 9 of hearts, which of course completes a flush draw and a few of the straight draws. I go ahead and bet out 30, planning to fold to a raise on this really wet board. I don't think he's got a draw in this spot, but I've definitely been wrong before. And I'm feeling pretty good when he just flats. I show my ace jack and he immediately mucks. I do wish he would have shown here so I could know if my ranging was accurate or not, but I'll happily settle for the pot instead. All right, here we go on to the last hand. In this last hand, I'm in the small blind again, this time with ace-king offsuit. There's 3 limps ahead of me. I bump it up to $15 and the big blind and a middle position player call. The flop comes almost exactly the same as the last hand we were talking about. It comes queen jack deuce with 2 hearts. I c-bet 20 bucks. The big blind calls and the middle position player folds. The turn, 9 of clubs. I decide to go ahead and continue my bluff here and fire a second barrel, betting 55. The villain goes into the tank here, which makes me think he's probably got hearts and is wondering if he should gamble. Or he's got some kind of pair with a straight draw, like Queen 10 or Jack 10. I'm not really worried about King 10 here because I think he would have raised that here to protect against the flush draw. My point is, he doesn't seem super strong here, so if he does call and a heart doesn't come, I'll probably go ahead and bomb the river. The river is an interesting card for me. It comes the ace of spades. Now that I have some showdown value, I'm not sure that making a big bet on the river is the right play. But I also thought if he was on the nut heart draw here, he might actually call a bet on the river with a weaker ace. So I decided to go ahead and bet about half pot and push in a $100 stack. The villain, he insta-mucks and mentions that he was on a heart draw. So, looks like we might have actually gotten that one right. It happens sometimes. All right, back to the casino. That's gonna do it for poker today. Put in a 4-hour session. I'd actually planned on playing a little bit longer. The game's really good. I don't usually get out on Saturdays, so I was gonna put in a good 5.5 hours or so. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna book this win. I think booking this win is gonna be pretty important for my kind of mental health right now. You know, being in these downswings is tough, and I kind of don't want to give that money back if I don't have to. Even when the game's good like this, I think it's more important to book a win here and kind of feel good about that. Maybe try to build some momentum off of it. So had a pretty decent day, plus 163. So a solid win in a 1-2 game. And yeah, I'm happy with it. So gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. It really does help me out. And I'll talk to you guys in the comments. See you later.